Welcome, Peter. I'm Joyce. I am the transplant nurse on the Department of Cardiology, and I heard you had a heart transplant a few years ago.
Yes, Joyce. I'm Peter. I'm now 62 years old. 10 years ago, I got my heart transplant here at the Erasmus. I had an unknown heart disease, and it deteriorated over the years. I was in need for a heart transplant, and I received it here at the Erasmus.
So you had a heart transplant. After the operation, you had a few new medicines. Can you tell me something about that?
Yes, that's one of the things you need to learn very quickly.
Yeah.
In the beginning, you're hooked up to all these medications, and they slowly reduce that, and then you have to start taking your own medicine. And in the beginning, it's a lot, and slowly it's brought down. It's now down to a couple of medicines in the morning and a few in the evening. Yeah. So it's manageable.
That's nice. That's nice. And with the medication for the rejection, you have certain regimes, things you can do, things you're not allowed to.
Yeah, if you're home, you go home, you get a paper in which the staff tells you what you cannot and can do. There's about 5 things you need to take care of. Take care of your medication in time. Stay strict on that. Be careful with certain foods, specifically raw food. Be aware that you can have an infection. Ensure that you have enough sleep, so be careful. Sleep is an important thing that helps your immune system, because the medication brings your immune system down, so you're more susceptible to infections. Sleep helps you work away infections. Avoid stress. That's sometimes not as easy, but that means do not worry too much. And if you worry, make sure you consult with the medical staff to take away the worries, or to make sure that you don't over worry. And finally, and one of the things I love most is make sure you have enough physical activity. Yeah. Do sports, because that also helps you keeping your body in shape. And if you keep your body in shape, you can keep your organ in shape.
Yeah. And are there things in life you can do and you can't do? Are there any risks?
Well, there's a few things you shouldn't do. You should avoid very high intensity activity. I won't run a marathon, because that's a little bit overdoing it. I will avoid larger crowds, because crowds are often a higher risk of picking up an infection, specifically if there's an epidemic. So I'm wary of that. Be careful when you go to a restaurant. I make sure that I take only the food that is reasonably risk-free. So you should be careful on risking. I like swimming, I'm a swimmer, but I won't go swimming into open water, because that's slightly more risky. So what you should avoid is the risky stuff.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Okay, you do on sports?
Yeah, one of the things I found out is that the general rules you get from the hospital are very good to prevent bad things from happening. Not everybody can do everything, but there are a few people that can do an awful lot. Yeah. So basically the years after a transplantation is trying to get your control over your own life, and that means that you have to be an active patient.
And are there any surprises from the heart transplant you didn't expect before?
Maybe the most surprising thing is that how wonderful life really is. If I didn't have a heart transplant, I wouldn't have had that extra life, but it's almost if life is more colorful, it's more beautiful, because you value life more, because you've almost lost it. Yeah. And maybe that's the extra gift you get after a heart transplant, if you're open to it. It takes time, but suddenly you realize, okay, this is something that comes with the transplant, to understand what life really is about. I think that's the most surprising thing. Okay. There's a lot of things you can do if you are aware that there are certain risks, and these things you don't. So I won't run a marathon, although I know from people who can, but I won't do it, because it's just over the edge.
Yeah.
So are there a lot of things I cannot do? No, but there are a few. And as long as you understand which it is, that's not really a problem.
Okay, well, thank you for coming here, Peter, and for the conversation.
Yeah, thank you very much, Joyce, for giving me the opportunity to tell. And I hope I can reach out to other transplant people and hope they can experience life as I have done it. And it's worth the wait.